talk about how to cross-sell. Does anyone ever hear in your practice, I didn't know you did that? Ever hear that? Like all the time? Happens a lot. Need coffee? Okay. So, it's so important that everybody who walks through your door knows every single, well, there's Jay's door. But you know, well, I'll keep going, okay. That they know every single treatment, procedure, product, and service you offer. I guarantee, oftentimes you're targeted for one procedure and they go elsewhere for other procedures. They just don't see you like that. I guarantee you're not getting all of their disposable income. So hopefully this will give you some ideas of how to make that happen. Because here's the beauty of our industry. I love our industry for this very reason. These patients who want to look and feel good have endless needs. They've got wrinkles, red and brown spots, blotchy skin, crepey skin, sagging body parts, unwanted fat pockets. Dear Lord, I just want to jump off the bridge. But it's lovely because when you address the one area, they move on to the next area, especially a patient who wants to look good, and especially females. We are the most self-critical people. You know, you fix something and we move on to the next thing. That's beautiful because you always want to start thinking patient for life, not a one-time patient, a forever patient. Because here's what happens. Patients are entering different doors to your practice. So there's a chance they came for an injectable, or a laser treatment, or surgery. Well, you happen to pigeonhole them, and half the time you're pigeonholing them because of the way they entered. But here's what's really happening. If you get good at cross-promoting, a good cosmetic patient will go up and down that ladder all day long for a lifetime. Trust me, I am that patient as well. When you introduce somebody to something that makes them feel good and makes them happy, they want more of that. That's the dopamine we're all trying to get all day. So if they think a smooth forehead is going to change their life, and it will, great. Now let's say, what else can you do for me? So always remember, they will go up and down. They might start at surgery, but is that enough? I don't know if you've attended any of these others, but combination treatments, you can give somebody a facelift, but their skin texture is awful. So you always want to have a combination therapy, and you always can, if indeed you remember, they'll go up and down that ladder. So here's some strategies to help. Here's a really simple one. You greet and inform. I know a lot of you have some of my trainings, tools on how to answer a phone. What I love to do is you don't just answer a phone saying, hi, it's so-and-so, you know, how can I help you today? You answer a phone by identifying who you are, so you get them to identify who they are, and you throw in a little ad. For example, good afternoon, Dr. Smith's office, now offering the weekend facelift. Catherine speaking, how may I assist you today? Now, that took me 2 seconds to say that extra little line, now offering the weekend facelift. I guarantee 4 out of 10 people will say, what was that? What was that about the weekend facelift? Or they will wait until they visit and say, what did I hear about this weekend facelift thing? And I'm just trying to be catchy here. It doesn't have to be a weekend facelift. It can be no downtime, fat removal. It can be whatever you'd like it to be. Easy way. That didn't cost you a dime. You could go back on Monday and start using that immediately and watch what happens. Now, a menu of services seems so obvious, but it doesn't seem to be obvious because when I consult with practices, I've hardly ever seen one of these. A menu of services is just very simple. Just tell them everything you offer. It's very simple. You know, I always like to put a woman back there. I know there's a woman and man thing, and Jay will talk about the men. For now, I'm just going with the women. They're just easier, faster, they grow up more organically. And you're just listing this. However, I always add, have a question, ask us today, or ask us. One thing you're trying to do with this cross-selling, and the word sales, I know makes everyone crazy, so you don't want to sell anybody anything, and you don't want to push anybody to do anything. What you want are to have tools, silent selling tools that are doing it for you. So when you have your menu of services, and you blow that thing up, I would have big ones. A lot of you just get these little, like 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. It's not standing out in your practice. You need a cosmetic patient who's roaming through your office or sitting still to look at that thing and go, whoa, look at all the offer, I didn't realize that. So these are strategic. You don't just put them in your reception area. By the way, it's never a waiting room, it's a reception area. And you put them wherever that patient is stewing, waiting for you. For example, in the exam rooms, in the restroom, in any kind of a treatment room where they're sitting. Another easy idea is a cosmetic questionnaire, and a lot of you have that. So let's say, for example, they're coming in and you can send them the paperwork ahead of time or you send it that day. Here's what I wouldn't do. If they're a new patient, you don't give them 5 pieces of paper and throw this in too. They're going to hate you because now it feels like they're doing a homework assignment. That's way too much paperwork. What I would suggest is, if you have a cosmetic questionnaire, put it on. Now they're already checked in. Your coordinator or some staff person is entering or meets them, and then guides them to the exam room with a clipboard and a pen while saying, you know what? We happen to have a cosmetic questionnaire. Go ahead and fill it out if you want. No worries. Just want you to know we offer lots of different things. Now you put the questionnaire in the exam room with the pen next to the patient. Let them pick it up or not. Don't push anybody to do anything. However, my questionnaire is different. What happens is you often say, are you interested in learning more about Velaterra or Velafil or Thermolite? Nobody knows what the heck that is. All they care about is what concerns you. What concerns me, let me tell you. And you definitely hit the pain points. Wrinkles will always be the #1 pain point in our industry. So I always start with wrinkles and go for it. Sagging anything, droopy eyebrows, fat pockets. You tell them what the pain points are, and then you leave a place for notes. So when you, the surgeon, walk into the exam room, they'll often hand it to you and say, by the way, I wanted to learn more about this kind of stuff, and that's terrific. Or maybe they didn't fill it out, so they're telling you, nope, I'm just here for what I'm here for. Okay? That's another really simple thing you can do on Monday. It's super simple. Also, a lot of the reps have lapel pins or t-shirts. You could have like a t-shirt day. I don't know, some of you actually have uniforms that you wear, which I think is really great if you're trying to hide some of these tattoos and stuff, So,
I actually have my own.
Here's our model. What does your shirt say? What does it say, somebody?
It says side effects may include self-confidence.
Side effects may include good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no, we're not good with that.
And we give it to our patients for free.
Good.
And if they wear it back, they get $10 off the post office.
Very, very nice.
$10 to $20, just depends on the week.
Nice. Okay, so your staff could actually have a t-shirt day, a Friday day, and they wear the t-shirt. And today we're going to have, like, this one has got lips, and maybe even during Valentine's week, month, you can have got lips because that's, you want kissable lips for Valentine's. Okay. Digital photo frames, I find, are the easiest thing in the world to do because of technology. It got so simple, and it's really cheap. You just get a little photo digital frame, or you often have these big digital frames. Here's what I find, though. You often have a talking video that goes on for 10 minutes. If someone's not sitting there for 10 minutes, they better not be sitting there for 10 minutes listening to your ads. I personally would prefer just show them before and after photos, keep it silent, keep it going, keep it interesting, show a left lipo. Keep going, just because what happens is you get stuck on, I'm going to show them 10 facelifts. Well, they never get to the other part. They never saw their blab or any of the other stuff. So just keep it going. The big displays are terrific as well. You just don't want to overpower people. When people feel like you're making them watch something, they resist. So that's why sometimes I just go with the digital photo frame, but again, I put it in strategic places. For example, when you're in the exam room, the treatment room, and the surgeon's doing his thing, like getting the injectables ready, you're just sitting there, and you look over, and you see this digital frame going around showing lipo. And you're like, hey, Dr. Smith, what's this? I need that tummy thing that I just saw. It's an easy way for that patient to start the discussion. You want the patient to start it, not you pushing it. Big distinction there. Now, I got this idea from, exhibit halls. You know how they have these huge banners? What I love about them is if you have tight space, like in New York, on Park Avenue, where there are 100 surgeons, they don't have any space. So these banners are really slight and slim, and you can just put them in a corner. What I love about them, there's so much geography or real estate there, you can actually do a lot of educating on a big banner like that. By the way, you know what these cost? Like less than $200. I mean, I would certainly, and I would have them for each season. So summer's coming, you ready? And then talk about the various things going on. Again, ask me about it. Interested? Ask me about it. Got a question? Ask me. this kind of signage. This, did you know Botox can treat? And we just made this up. I mean, it's all over everywhere. You just take a patient and then you just give them all of the places Botox can treat. I guarantee most of the patients have no idea how much Botox they can actually have. So when you're a newbie at Botox, don't you always get your crow's feet and maybe your forehead? And then when you're a veteran like me, holy cow, we are all over the place, neck, everywhere. So now, somebody who's coming in with their 20 units becomes a 60 unit just from something like this. But again, you have to strategically place it in the treatment room. So they have a minute to look at this while you're preparing the Botox. They say, huh, I didn't know that. Can I have a little bit of my marionette lines? Okay. Now, I love this signage because we just made this up. My coordinator, my designer made this up. But we took a woman and we photoshopped the heck out of her to make her look haggard and then brought her back to looking great. What you're trying to educate them on is what do you need to turn back the clock? So oftentimes patients, thanks to the internet, think that they can go and get Botox and look 10 years younger. It's not true. You need to tell them how many years do you want to turn back the clock, okay? If you want 1 to 5, well then that's just the easy stuff. That's skincare, microdermabrasion, Botox. But if you want to go 6 to 10 years, you've got to add lasers and fillers. And if you want to go more, you've got to do the heavy-duty stuff. You have to do all of it plus the surgical procedures. So it's an easier way for you to educate what you need to do to get the expected result that you're looking for. Okay? Now, I really like educational videos, but I like them tight and short. If you make somebody sit, I've watched quite a few presentations where the patient comes in, they're greeted, and now they're stuck in a room to watch a video of a procedure. I would be careful with that because it feels a little dismissive. Although I understand why you're doing it, it's educational, but it's like, no, all of a sudden I'm sitting in this room, and I just met one person at the receptionist, now I'm sitting in this room by myself watching a video. It has a funny feel to it. So I'm not sure that's the perfect place to do that. I might have done that beforehand, actually. I would have had those videos on my website, and I might have even sent them ahead of time, so they come more prepared. Using technology to communicate in today's world is fantastic, but it only works when you actually use it. A lot of you have technology in your office that nobody ever turns on, and it's just the way we are. If you don't have to use it, you won't use it. However, I will tell you, when I got into this 18 years ago, I was a marketing, like a traveling marketing person in Northern California. And for the doctors, the surgeons, I would do computer imaging at fun places like golf outings, like high end, like California has some money. And it was a fun thing to do. So I was doing it. I'm not a doctor, it was a fun thing to do. And I would give somebody a blef, get rid of their facial problems, their sun damage, and then I would refer them to surgeons. I thought, that's brilliant, right? So you guys might want to even try that, actually. As a matter of fact, if you do have computer imaging or you have events in your office, pull that out and make sure you're using it. There's nothing more compelling for a patient to see themselves in there than somebody else. So, you can use it for the body, for the face. It's just another way to try to explain to a patient why they need what you're going to refer. By the way, I was listening in the other room, the clinical room, about when you know a patient needs more than they think they need, that's a problem. Because now you're sparring with them, right? Like half the time you're offending them. If they think they just need a little something and you say, dear God, we're going to need the works here. They're offended by that and you probably won't get that. However, there is a strategic way to do it. What I would do is, they said they only want a blef. You know they need a facelift, right? What I would do is make sure my digital photo frame shows a blef with a facelift, a blef with a facelift with skincare. Let the picture show what else they could possibly want. That way they might get it to them, they might get it in their head, wait a second, I thought I wanted a blef, but look at the difference that woman got when she did her face too and her neck. Okay, maybe I'm open to that. Okay? Now, photo note cards. I get resistance on this a lot. I'm just saying what works out there. I personally would give the patients their before and after photos. Period. Give them their photos. You know why? Because women cannot keep a secret and they will tell at least 2 or 3 of their other friends. And strategically, it's a card that says, thank you for your trust. And when you open it, here comes your before and after, and then here comes your name, your website, and your phone number. So you're literally referring that the patient's going to show her girlfriend and refer you, basically. Would anyone do this? You really should, because in today's world, if not, you know what, we can't have it both ways. If social media means we're also social, well then you can't keep saying, oh, nobody would ever just talk about that. Come on, then how did Real Self become the #1 website? It's not true. You think it because you think it. There are patients out there, some patients, yes, they're private, but they'll let you know. But when you hand a patient a thank you for your trust card with their photos in it, you didn't say, go tell the world. You just said, here you go, and do what you want with them. That's good word of mouth. I call this cha-ching checkout. And I didn't make that up. I was at a meeting and this guy said it, and I just thought it was so brilliant. Checkout has to be the most ignored profit center in a practice. And I think it's because you're harried and you're running them through your processes, and now you're just kind of wrapping it up and okay, great, you're done, see you later. And that's where you need to stop, because there's a lot of potential and opportunity at the checkout. So for example, I call it the 4 R's. It's return, refer, review, and retail. Okay? So here's how you do it. And actually, I learned this from my dermatologist, who is a very famous dermatologist, who, do you know Fields and Rodin? Acronym people. The 2 dermatologists at Stanford? Well, they're my people. She used to do this, Kathy Fields. So what happened was you walked out of your treatment and you went up to the checkout counter, and the first thing you saw was a huge vase of a whole bunch of samples. And so of course and it said, take what you want. So of course you're, grabbing the sun lotion and you're grabbing all that stuff. And what happens is psychologically, she just triggered the sense of reciprocity. Because now I just took a gift from her, now I'm more receptive to what they're going to say. So for example, you could do the same thing here. You can have your own little tchotchkes. I don't know how to spell tchotchkes, but you have your name on them with your website. You can have your own lip glosses, that kind of thing, or pens. You can just have skin samples, or chocolates work really well. And then you have prepped them, and now they're open for what I call, what do you call it? What does McDonald's say? Want fries with that? It's that concept. Want fries with that. So for example, Sarah, when can we see you again? You never, ever, ever let a cosmetic patient out the door without having them on the books again. I don't care what they say. You get them on the books because it's too easy in today's world for them to wander off to somewhere else. And you'll get caught up on, well, they didn't bring their calendar. Doesn't the dentist always get you on the books 6 months from now? Always. We take it from the dentist and we don't accept it from the plastic surgery practice. That doesn't make any sense. So all you're saying is, let's go ahead and get you back on the books because you're probably going to want to come back. If you don't need anything, I'm going to check with you anyway beforehand, so we can always change this if we need to. Psychologically, they need to get on the books and stay on the books with you. They have to know this is not a one-time hit. You're their aesthetic advisor. They're your one-stop shop. So when can we see you again? Also, need any refills? I love making this fun. So you can actually go to any of those party stores, and like summer's coming up, you can have a cute little sandbox with all the sorts of sunglasses and things in there, and then your retail products. And then you just point over there. Need a refill on your sunblock, Catherine? And then another one. Need a quick gift. A lot of you actually offer gift certificates, but nobody knows about it because they're hiding in your drawer. I would make such a big deal out of neat gift certificates. I would keep changing the display every month to keep it fun and themed. So right now, Valentine's Day is such a perfect time for our industry. You would go ahead and make one that's red and make it a big deal. Have big gift baskets with red hearts on them, and you say, need a quick gift. What's so great about that is there are some patients, like I happen to be this patient again. My sister loves, my gifts to her are Botox. She loves my gifts. All I ever give her is a certificate for Botox. And it's so convenient for me because I don't have to go shopping, I don't have to give her anything she doesn't want, and it's easy. If you made it that easy for me, where you're just handing, add it to my bill today, and then you give me a gift certificate, I'm golden. So I can't be the only one like that. I'm sure you have other patients that are similar. And then here's another one. You need to, in today's world, I would say, hoping for word of mouth referrals is not going to cut it anymore. You really have to strategically push for it. So why not have a display, and a very simple display. The ultimate compliment you can pay us is to refer your friends and family to our practice. Okay? But you go one step further. You always have takeaway cards with it. Because what happens that, maybe, you probably don't actually say it, but maybe you do, we want more patients, but you don't give them a paper trail to follow, or a way to remind them. So the walk-away cards, actually, they write their name on them, and then when you see the card come back, you profusely thank that patient, the referring patient, because a patient who refers and is acknowledged for that will refer again and again. And then you also want to just hand the referral cards out with a receipt. In case they didn't take them themselves, you know, when you hand somebody the receipt, go ahead and put 2 referral cards with the receipt and say, thanks so much, it's so great to see you again today, Sue. See you again. Okay? And that is that.